look forward to the full day on the 26th where we introduce our people to cryptocurrency. That is a good thing. Look, next thing we're going to do is talk gold with Ainslie. It's been a big couple of weeks for Ainslie with a couple of house moves in the period. I think she's in. I think she might be on what we laughingly call in our world Australian internet, which is internet that doesn't really work. If you've ever got a spare 2 or 3 days, you want to ask Geoff what he thinks about internet in Australia. It's always good fun. Yeah, Ainslie. Not only is it a triangle, and look, you could tighten that triangle up quite a bit. Not only is it a triangle, but it's just what was going on here? I mean, there's days here where it's just not going anywhere. I don't like dozy. It just makes me feel as if, as if nothing's happening at all.
Okay, while it was going doji, I was moving house, and I've been moving house. I moved out of one house, didn't have anywhere to go, so the girls and I, my 2 girls and the dog, bunked down at the Intercontinental for a week and a bit, and we've now moved into a house. But I'm unpacking boxes and I'm hotspotting phones and trying to get internet on quickly with Telstra in the same sentence is impossible. So in a way, I'm sort of happy about doji.
That is brilliant entertainment for the rest of the world. When you let anyone in Australia putting the internet on, you are guaranteed hours of humour. Anyway, let's get gold, Ainsley. What? Where are we going?
Gold has gone sideways, and it's driving me nuts. Apart from the fact that I think I'm on a run and I go off and do life for 24 hours and come back and look at my phone, and it's gone up. It's done a really good job, and turn around and come back down again. This is not what it's meant to be doing at this time of the year. This time of the year, it's one of the strongest seasonal rallies is September. My other one is from just after mid-December, but this is another one that I'm looking at that should have rallied, and it's not. Now, that's even given a presidential cycle. It should be, even on the presidential seasonality cycle, it actually should be a stronger rally than with the other 3 years. And look at it.
Yep.
Look at it. It's just it's just bleh. That's look. I don't know. And with hats off to Geoff, he must love this. If he would trade gold, he's probably made quite a bit of money in this last couple of months, but it's not. It's not going anywhere, and it's driving me nuts. And it's not doing anything. And all we're getting is a tighter spring. And we just don't know. I need more information.
Look, I'll tell you what, Ainsley, what I'm going to ask you, and what we're trying to do is give our people a bit of a steer on it. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to draw on it. And I'm going to ask you a question around it. Okay. Now this isn't.
God, shapes. Here we go. It just, yeah.
We need to get a break of that and a close outside of it to have a direction here, Ainsley. So when we just say you're waiting, this is what we mean, right? We want a bar, we want a daily bar to close below here or close above here. Preferably give us a retest of our level, and look, it's a range. You can put the top there, you can put the top there if you really want to. I think you can make a case for putting the top down there. It's got a couple more touches through here. You can cause a false breakout, an attempted false breakout, so you can tighten it up a little bit. But what we really need to do is see a close above, a little test back, and a little A advance, B back, C continue, A, B, C. And look, the alternative, I guess, for some people, if you want to be really aggressive, one thing you can do, I think, in this range right now is buy the bottom. If it wants to pop down here and give you a reversal bar on a 4-hour chart, I think buying the bottom of this range. If you're bullish, I think that's a reasonable option too.
Okay,
any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. If you want to be just to have a few horses backed on that one, yes, I would buy at the bottom of the range. You probably find if you looked on a 50 moving average, you'd find that some of that is bouncing off that as well. So, and obviously with gold, loves those technical levels, and that's what you're going to get. It's going to keep in there. But if you actually looked at something like this consolidation, we all know that once it's done, its consolidation and makes a direction for what it wants to do and where it's going to go, it will go.
Look, we talked about this a lot in the move, right? That so here's your 50 moving
There we
average
go.
as well. You know,
Ding.
that's a nice call.
Yep.
Look, one thing I also want to say is, guys, when you're looking at charts, one of the things you can look at is, so here's the bottom of our range, right? And we had it broke out and came back, and then really for mine, I'd be pretty nervous about watching this bar. For mine right now, even though the range is tighter, this bar really runs the market, but we can pull the range in a little bit. But we'll see the bottom, and what do we see? It gets here, and the buyers come in and smash it straight back up here, and it gets here, and the buyers smash it straight back up here. There is no, every time it hits the bottom of this range, there is a ton of buyers right now coming in and having a crack at this, and it does make me believe there's some more buyers around for it at these levels, and that you know, while people are, you know, resting from their longs and all and looking at everything else, I'd imagine there's still some buyers around this level. Boy, I've got to say, the conversation that's always the same, right? If you believe that, then the other option to this is that if this level gets broken, boy, then it's all on. It's a different looking game for months after that.
It is, and going back to last year, we normally see. Remember, October and November are normally bearish.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider. However, we haven't seen the seasonal bullishness in gold this season. Who knows whether the October and last year, October, November, which was meant to be bullish, and we kept waiting for, I know I did, kept waiting for a really good roll down on gold. It didn't happen. It was a really mild pullback on gold in that September, sorry, from the end of September, October, November sort of area. And then bang, I was in about the 16th of December and had that really good run, as you recall. But we just didn't see that at the end of last year. It consolidated. And I guess this comes down to, in how do you interpret those seasonal charts? It's is it direction, or is it's not going to continue in that direction that you're in? So that's one of the things Steve Nissen, when it comes to candlesticks, he often says, be careful of dojis. They don't mean that it is a cessation or a reversal bar. He says it's a cessation or a suspension of the current market trend. So don't get too excited. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a reversal bar in itself. You need more information. So seasonality, I think we need to be really careful with how we interpret that. We'd like to see it go strong in one direction or the other because that suits our fundamental bias, I guess. But at the time, you still need to look at this chart and just go, okay, it's getting like a coil, and we can see, and we've seen previously back around July, look at what happened in July. It did the same thing. Remember, and we had that conversation, and I think it was Fad who asked us at the time, where do you go in? And we just plonked up and I said, pull up the 4-hour chart, Paul, and it was just perfect. It was just like buy on the pivot, and off it went, and bang, off it went again. We're seeing a very similar pattern. Yes, the bars are a lot bigger because I think there's just, as we're coming closer and closer to the election, and we've got a lot more happening on the NASDAQ and the S&P and the equities market, and there's just, you look at that market and that's just crazy numbers with unbelievable valuations happening there. Gold will still remain your safe haven. It just will.
It's hard to see that ever changing, isn't it? That is hard to see that ever changing.
Yeah, and just go back and look at your patterns and see how they are. The bars might be a little bit bigger, but you're still looking at the same pattern. You know.
Look,
I am long. I'm up 5 pips as of Saturday morning when the market closed out after having a roller coaster ride, because I was just looking at this and I'm waiting for that seasonality, and I had a few indicators on my 4-hourly chart, but it's nothing that's strong enough to keep me going at the moment.
Geez, I've just got one more question. I've just come in.
Yeah, do I think it's going to go down or up? Who knows at the moment? It's you can't tell from that. There's nothing to tell from that except it's consolidating, and it's going to go in one direction or the other. And I know that is a really good cop out as far as trading goes, but it means that Monday morning, if I don't get a bit more information, I'll close out my position that I've got on, take it and wait.
Yeah, look, I do want to move on to Lloyd. I think he's in the show. I don't have him by his name, but I think he's logged in. I just want to see if I can answer a few questions. I'll get your thoughts on this as we go as well from Helen. And look, Helen, I think one of the things you want to do with these things is sometimes you just want to look for the most sensible answer you can possibly come up with. So I'm going to run through the 3 questions, and Ainslie, you can tell me if my answers are right or wrong. What does Ainslie do with her positions when gold does that, or ranges like it is? She reduces them and trades a lot less. Is that right, Ainslie?
Yeah. Or if I'm in a position, I hold it as long as my long-term belief and my long-term story holds. If it doesn't, I cut my losses. You don't want to hold a bad gold position. It'll take you down really quickly.
Could it be COVID effect? People don't have jobs, and the answer to that, Helen, is of course it could be COVID. It could be the US election. It could be God knows what. It could be a million things. Yep. It could be so many different things. And to some degree, with fundamentals, what you want is to, if you don't know what it is, then perhaps put the chat aside. Is COVID affecting the price of gold? Personally, for me, I think that's highly unlikely.
Unlikely, yeah, I agree. Rubbish. It's what else is happening. There's so many things happening, from Brexit to the elections to COVID to, Oregon's on fire to you name it. There's a lot happening that's affecting the economy, and they're major things all in their own story. Don't just select the one thing, to see how the whole market reacts to the way it's traded.
Look, last question. If US dollar goes up, as Julian says it might, will it mean gold heads down? Yep. If the US dollar goes up, look, there's no secret to this. It's all valued in US dollars. US dollar goes up, you can expect gold to sell, silver to sell, all the commodities to sell. You can expect indices to weaken. Everything that, particularly US indices, will weaken. But yes, you can expect all of that if the US dollar goes up. And what I would point out to you is right now, Julian's view on the US dollar is a short-term US dollar bull. I don't think he's a long-term US dollar bull yet, so I wouldn't get too concerned about that at this stage. I'd be concerned about it for short-term trading because he's always right. It amazes me how he does it.
Jules is a long-term gold bull at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think he said earlier on in the chat we were having that he's long gold himself right now, but cautiously. And I think that's, Ainslie, you're cautiously long gold, right? I'm cautiously long gold.
Yeah. And you still got major institutions still expecting this to go to 2,500, 3,000 by the end of the year. Now I'm putting aside 3,000. 2,500 is a different story altogether, but it's still trading above some certain levels and holding them. As you can see from that little box that you've done there on a daily, it just doesn't want to know anything below it, does it? As soon as it comes down to that level, bang, straight back up again.
I'm starting to realise, Ainslie, that one of the reasons that we always run along on this late on this show is because of me, and I've always thought it was because of everybody else, but actually it's partly because of me. I want to do something for the people in the room right now, and we've done this once before, but I just want to do it again, right? I'm going to get this little rectangle shape out, and I'm going to put it right there, straight before that move there.
Yeah.
If you want me to, I can put another one.
You can do it as many times as you like, Paul, and it does exactly the same thing with gold.
Yeah, and that's what it's always done, right? It ranges and then it goes, and this whole thing there, where gold is ranging. That's a bigger range, right? You're talking about here. We were talking about, potentially, if it's been a fair chunk of time inside that box there, and look, if you're a gold trader, what you have to do is you have to accept that it does this stuff and it bounces out. And again, that's what puts the buying in the bottom of the range as a possibility. And look, through these ranges again, what it has tended to do is once it's formed the base, it tends to come off, not so much here, but comes off here quite aggressively, comes off here quite aggressively, comes off here quite aggressively, comes off here quite aggressively. And that tends to be a sign when it's starting to come off bottoms pretty aggressively. That, let's be fair, that this is not me and Ainslie and 3 of our friends buying some gold. This is some people with big money who are buying off these levels, and this is what it does. This is how it behaves. And I think this is one of the things about, and look, don't get me wrong. Let's just do this one to be clear, right? I'm not saying, and I don't want to, that it ranges and then it goes up, because sometimes it ranges and it pops down. And,
but if you look at that bottom level, it will go back and retest where that level it was broken. So it does that type of thing. It will go back and retest a level it's broken previously. So when it goes looking, and that's why I'm saying you've got to be careful with gold. When it flicks around, it can flick around really badly. I remember in this area, and we did it a couple of times, and we popped up pivot line, daily pivots.
Weekly pivots.
It was just bouncing. Yeah. Monthly pivots, it just bounced straight off those kind of levels. So it's what it does, and it likes the levels, and look at it. Bang, 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 bang.
It's all over the place, isn't it? Had a great time coming off. And I think we gave this trade out, didn't we, Angie, in the show?
Yeah, we did that one.
You asked me on a Friday what I was going to do, and I said, well, it's going to come weekly pivot, and it's going to take off. And
that's right.
You got that one.
And we even gave a level. We gave, I think we pulled up the exact point. If it goes to, what was it, 1805? Oh, I can't even remember now.
What's this level here? We said that if it's 1805, there you go. We said that if it reaches the number of 1805 and off you go, and bang to 1805 and away it went. And right now, like, one of the things that does interest me a little bit is that it is still a bit of time below the pivots. I want to say that quite a bit of time recently below the pivots, but again, I think that for all this discussion, it's a bit of a wait and see and have an opinion, right?
Absolutely. All we know is with gold, the tighter it consolidates. So look at your highs and lows, and it's coming in closer and closer and closer and tighter. We all know that it's going to go in one direction or the other with gold. And that's the way that's the way it trades.
Tim is telling us that he thinks gold's going to hit to 1750 on the triangle, and look, I'd imagine that he's forming a triangle, and look, it's one of the things that's always interesting, and I do need to move on, but
I don't know. How's that?
The triangle here, you can measure it.
Yeah.
And say, okay, well, the top to the bottom of the triangle is
keep going. And a bit further.
Oh, I don't think the triangle goes to there, does it? This is my base.
Yeah, that's your base, but it went and retested that level, which was a previous pivot level.
Which is $165. And what we're saying is that if it breaks the triangle here, it could easily go down same kind of level. So Tindrapa's got a target on of about 17. What do you got, Tindrapa? 1750. Look, I don't think that there's too many people even who are long gold or that's out of the question with gold. Is it going to break the triangle and go down there? Look, for me, personally, I'd say at this stage I'd be surprised. To be honest, then again, I do need to move on this, but I just feel as if there's too many people from this rally who have got a emotional-based attachment to the long. And we've heard the talk of 3,000, we've heard the talk of 10,000, and there are too many people trying to buy dips on this to see it get there unless the US dollar strengthens substantially. That's the play from Julian that could change the whole thing, and that could very well be different. As we've said a few times on this, lots of opinions, but watch this closely is the key.